14 millimeter for the timing cover gear housing. I believe 5/8 wrench takes off all the injector lines from the injectors. This one has a timing adapter on it, from what I've been told. That one's kind of a pain. A lot of guys will eliminate that because it starts to leak at some point. I do have some bags. I'm going to label and bag all these parts because it's always nice when you have everything labeled, so I can go back together the way it should. All right. Got that off. The reason I did that was because it's easy to get it out of the way. I think I'd already had it loose at one point. And then you can get the injectors out if you want to do the glow plugs, whatever. I did make a mistake in not taking the fan off the pulley before I disassemble this motor, but I think I have an idea how I'm going to get that off. And it involves a ratchet strap. And I think I have a wrench that fits it. I hope I have a wrench that fits it, but I'm not going to do it right now because I have very limited time before I have to be finished for the night, because it is all after 9 o'clock and I have to work tomorrow. This motor obviously is drained. There's no oil in it because it had coolant in it, and that's not good. And I don't know how long it had coolant in it for, so we are going to have a surprise when we open this baby up. I am going to take the cap off because I don't need that anymore because I'm not blowing anything more out. I'm going to take the lift brackets off, take the intake off, and just go from there. My trusty sockets right here. Metric. This is kind of one of those times when it's kind of a... Some of the stuff is metric, some of the stuff seems like it's not. I'm sure I'm probably not taking this off correctly, but I'm just taking it off. I have seen a bunch of guys how they modified this for turbo flange, and I actually have a kind of a weird idea about maybe eliminating the center part of this and turning these up and doing kind of like the 7.3 Power Strokes have, where they have kind of two intakes in a way. I have seen a mock-up of a 8-injector P pump that I think somebody is trying to build for one of these. That would be super awesome, but I figure it would probably be super expensive when it finally happens. Because nothing for these motors is cheap. Nothing. Maybe a fuel filter is probably the cheapest thing for it, or an oil filter actually. And I actually put the Power Stroke filters on mine because it's like an extra quart in just the filter, which is nice, or I should say maybe half a quart. And it's extra. It's nice to have that extra capacity. I wish I had a compressor in here. This garage is literally bare bones. It was built from a kit from Menards by the original owner, and it has bare bones insulation board on the outside of the framing, and then siding that's just like shiplap smooth masonite. So it is very cold in this garage. Most of you guys probably wouldn't even go outside in this weather. Some of us, you know, like working on cars, like working on our stuff. Let's see if that's gonna work. Just enough. Don't have an air compressor because I literally have maybe 2 outlets in this garage, and I have made them work for the time being until I can get more power in here. There's going to be a couple different versions of this video. There's going to be a long version, and there's going to be a short version. And the short version is probably going to be sped up. And when I say sped up, it's pretty much, I'm going to kind of do like a super fast teardown kind of video, which is, I always thought was super cool to watch. So, you know, might be an hour video of me taking this sucker apart, or over an hour video taking this thing apart, because it doesn't go fast when you're using just socket and ratchets, wrenches and ratchet. If I had power and compressor, I would be using an impact or electric impact, but right now I don't, and it's just too late at night to make that kind of noise. I do have a 3-year-old sleeping inside. I got the 2 dogs inside now. The wife is at work. She's in CNA right now, working to be a nurse. So she goes to school full time, and I work full time. So this is an literally after hours diesel video. So I am tired from a long day at work. I'm the type of guy who, my job, I work 5 10s. Yes, that means overtime every week, and sometimes I work 4 hours on Saturday, so which is all overtime. It's not often I get a day off. I get maybe 6 holidays a year, so there's not much time unless it's the weekends. And when you have a 3-year-old running around, he would literally be out here with me, but it's so cold, he complains, so I can't keep him out here in this kind of weather, and I don't want him to get sick. These motors did one thing great, and it's not even a good thing, and that's leak. They leak oil like a sieve. I've never seen one that doesn't leak. You can screw them together, you can use whatever sealant you want, but they're going to leak. It's almost a guarantee. I have one bolt over there, and that is going to be a 14 millimeter wrench. I literally have 100 projects going on, and this just seems like a really cool one right now. Well, that I can do in the garage over winter. I have had a super nice winter. It has been super cold, but not as much snow as we normally get. Last year we had 100 and a little over 100 and some inches, 106 inches of snow, which was a record for Billings, Montana. That is where I am. That is why it's cold. It's after 9 o'clock at night. Loose, goosey. I gotta take it out. all going in the bag. So hangers in 2, hangers as well, or hangers. Lifting brackets as well. Everything is coming out, so it comes off a lot easier. I'll grab a bag real quick. Working in an industrial hose shop, I have a lot of bags. When I mean a lot of bags, I mean I will deliver hydraulic hose fittings for, I'm a Gates dealer, and I get nice poly bags, leftovers. Oh, that thing came off freaking really easy. Wow. A little bit of silicone here on the back. There's the CDC? I can't remember. The crank ventilation valve right into the bottom of the intake. It's actually leaking some oil. So you know what? I'm going to put it right over here with my other one off of the other motor that's sitting on the stand. Still have some grit down in there that obviously is caked on. The drain was actually working because there was got a little bit of snow in here. It was some weird snow too. Looked like little balls from Dippin' Dots. So the drain works. This is actually a drain. It actually drains out to the back of your motor and drains down the sides. So one reason why you ever get fuel running underneath your truck and it's coming from the back, sometimes it could be something leaking down the valley pan. I'm going to take these little guys off right now. And I'm thinking it's a 10 millimeter. So that is the one I'm going to grab. I was wrong. It is a 11 millimeter. And then it's going to take the valley pan off. These have the valley pan like the big block Mopars do, and I think it's kind of interesting, to say the least, that somebody used that design. I will have another video that is really going to be a rant about all the guys that call Fummins, you know, Cummins conversion Fords Fummins. I think that's so stupid. And the reason why I think it's stupid is because Ford never owned Cummins. They owned some stock in Cummins, and it was for a very short time. And you know, some companies wouldn't be where they are today if they didn't diversify. So yeah, I'm going to drop those in the intake bag. Some more trash, and I'm going to take this guy out. This is literally a drain plug with a copper washer there that holds that valley pan in place. Play the bongo. Literally probably popping a 30-year-old seal right there. That's what I'm popping. You know, that has probably been on there for 30 some years. Like I said, this thing seemed like it was well taken care of. Yes, you know, stuff wears out after so many miles, but I take it back. I don't think it was well taken care of as I thought it was. So there's the kind of junk that's in the valley pan, like twigs and frickin' whatever else junk. You know, I'm gonna throw that. Just kind of throw in the garbage. I will keep the pan for right now, just to see the difference. If the new ones look like this, has a drain. This is the drain hole. It goes to the back of the block. This is the oil ventilation, crankcase ventilation, and it has this big old freaking thing on the bottom for probably so it doesn't suck up a lot of oil. So I think it's kind of cool. But we're just gonna slide it underneath here. Sorry, super cold. Nose is running. Ooh, there is some chunks of metal in the valley. That is not good. When there's chunks of metal in the valley, that means something is broken, and not just down below. That means up above. So we will find out what it is. I think the next thing I'm going to take off is, oh man, I want to take the valve covers off. I am going to take the injectors out. These injectors are BB injectors, and a lot of guys like the BB injectors. For performance, one-inch wrench. Yeah, that one came off. If I had my 390 and my 75 Ford F250, I would have had an engine stand to put this baby on. It is like the, I believe the 1 ton or the 2 ton engine stand from Harbor Freight. It has 2 legs, not the single leg like that one. So it's nice to carry all the weight of this motor. These motors are heavy. They are solid. There's nothing light about these, maybe the valve covers. Almost looks like maybe they were running a Pennzoil. And yes, that means I'm knocking Pennzoil. I've seen enough motors taken apart that ran Pennzoil. I used to work at an oil change place, and every guy that worked there hated Pennzoil. Literally hated it. The only reason we use it is because it was cheap, and it's how you make money. Every oil change place in town, Jiffy Lube, Master Lube, probably even some of the dealers even, I think, use it because it's so inexpensive. And I have heard that race teams that are given it for NASCAR don't even run it. In the form they get it in, they refine it over and over again, filter it before they use it. I have seen Project Farm on YouTube. If you guys haven't seen his channel, check it out. He put a battle of the synthetics together and battle of oils, and one of the most expensive Pennzoils was actually won second place in that challenge. Amsoil won first. I'm not an Amsoil user. I might maybe use something for Amsoil. Some Amsoil in the future. It is very expensive. Your intervals are less, but I think one of the projects that I'm going to be doing for either this motor or that motor is actually doing a oil spinner. They are very expensive, but you can find them on YouTube or find them on eBay for about 150 bucks, and you can pre-soak these, by the way. That was a few days ago. Ooh, there's a little bit of rust, but they look dry. An oil spinner design is actually a centrifuge that spins oil at like 1,000 times the force of gravity, and by doing that, it pushes the soot out of the oil and it cakes it on the sides of the wall, and it is awesome. I hope I get all this on video, because the iPad is going to die soon. And I'm recording on because I don't have a tripod yet for my Canon. And I'm probably going to get a GoPro here pretty soon. So this is almost it for the night. We got, ooh, that one looks really clean. Getting a little more rust on them. So this is the 4 out of the front, back. So they're kind of like this way in the motor, and they look pretty good. So I'm gonna just put them in a box and maybe have them pop tested. I do have a friend in town, actually a customer of mine. Ooh, that one, number, I believe cylinder 5. That is not good right there. I'm thinking that's the one that let go and probably threw some stuff up into the motor, up into the valley. That is, yep, that is, smells. So that's also on the injector body, so it almost makes me wonder if the injector wasn't sealed correctly. I don't see a copper washer on it. I do see the copper washer in the bottom, but that is very odd that that stuff is so high up that that injector. You have a bag here actually that I'm going to open up, and I'm going to throw these injectors in. And I am running out of battery, so I think I'm going to call it a night and do a second video, and it probably will be, I like to keep them under 30 minutes. Keep guys interested. I know I don't have enough subscribers to make money off this, so it's not like I'm trying to make a bunch of money. But if you guys are interested in watching, I'm interested in doing videos, especially on the IDIs. There is not too many guys that do that. I'm going to set these up here, and I think I'm going to call it a night. I will get these in, I think I'm going to take the glow plugs out and see what they look like, especially with this number 5 cylinder right here, because I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? I'm trying to remember. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4? 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not positive. I gotta double check how they count these cylinders on these motors. But it's this second to the last cylinder on the passenger side is the one that looks like it gave up the rod. Even by kind of lining up that hole in the side of the pan is right below there. So that is where all the carnage is. Hopefully it didn't damage the block too much so that I can still use the block for future builds, but for right now, that's going to be it. Have a great evening and enjoy.